Welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam, just don't call me Sammy. And I am here with my dia bestie. That's what I get to call her. Adriana Wright. Her and I connected on social media. Do you even remember what year it was?
I want to say it was like 2013. That's when I first got Instagram, was like 2013. And you were one of the first ones that I followed.
That feels kind of like an honor, but it was like, because I think I got it, Instagram in 2011, very early on. But I remember connecting with you when I lived in my apartment with Joe. So it definitely would have been around 2013. But we have stayed connected. We did meet on social media and we have stayed connected since then. And we've hung out in real life. I've been out to Arizona a couple of times. She's in Phoenix, Arizona. And we have been able to connect and stay connected. And one of the best things I always say, the type 1 diabetes community is the best family you never want to have to be a part of. And I just feel like our friendship is such a testament to that. And really everything that, you can correct me if you're wrong, but I feel like everything we learn about type 1 diabetes, we learn from each other. It's not the doctors, it's not the books, it's from each other. And that has just proved to be so true, at least in my friendship with you over these past 12, 11 years. So, okay, before we get in here, because I want to talk all things type 1 diabetes, but before we do, I start every show with the 3 things you need to know. So girl, kick it off for us. What's the first thing that people need to know?
Okay. So I mentioned earlier, this was a little hard for me. I'm always just a little, I don't know, I can't ever come up with anything good, but I did have one that I was like, I need to bring this up because I did not know. I had no idea. I just found this out a couple of days ago because of Sophie, my youngest. She's a gymnast and she's only 4'10", and it doesn't seem like she's going to grow anymore. So that's it. 4'10" for her. I think 4'10 and a half on a good day.
That is supposed to help a gymnast, right?
Yes. So I have a little thing that we found out a couple of days ago is that you can get a handicap permit if you are a driving age and are 4'10" or shorter.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Is she driving yet?
She's starting to learn to drive, yes, in the parking lot.
Are you guys going to get her this handicap permit?
If she doesn't grow.
So now she doesn't have to walk so far. I did not know that. So look, if you're just a little bit shorter, fun size, whatever, you can get a handicap pass and there you go. Fun fact. I love that. Awesome. What's the second thing that people need to know?
Okay. So, because this, it's Diabetes Awareness Month, I thought this was it's not like a fact or anything, but insulin was discovered 100 years ago. And our home that we live in was built 5 years after insulin was created.
Really? So you live in an old house. Is it okay, couple things happen in here. So is it the 100th year of insulin?
I think it was last year, the 100th year. It was 1922. 1922 was when insulin was discovered. And 1927 is when our home was built.
It's hard to believe that we've had insulin for 100 years now. I know we celebrate World Diabetes Day on November 14th because it's the birthday of Frederick Banting, the man who discovered insulin just over 100 years ago. And that's a pretty old house. Have you guys had to do a lot of renovations to it?
No, actually the people that lived here before us did a lot of the renovations. It's still pretty original other than the kitchen. And we did do an addition to the home, but it looks like it was always here.
Is that the same house that I visited you in when you took me on a walk across the desert?
Yes, it is.
So
I went to about that.
Still apologizing. I went to visit Adriana in Arizona, and I was only there for a day. I was there for a couple different reasons, and we got to hang out for a day, and we were going on a walk, I think, downtown just to go get some food or see the park, but it happened to be like 105 degrees, which I'm sure you're used to because you live there. Well, up where I'm from, Ohio, I am not used to that heat, and I think I was like seeing mirage, and I was like, the water, like my feet were on fire under my shoes, but it was fine. I survived this long ass walk in the heat. But yeah, you guys have an adorable house. I love it. I remember Dustin, I think, working on it when I was there. Are you guys still working on the house?
We will always be working on the house. That's Dustin's projects is like he finishes one thing and then he starts on another. So, but the pool is done. When
That's
you
totally fair.
visited,
I
we
can
were
appreciate.
working on the pool, so
That's right.
that's done. So
That's
next
right.
time, instead of taking you for a
Awesome. Well,
walk, if you're here in the summer, we'll jump in the pool.
say less. You've said what I needed to hear to come back and visit. So yes, count me in. What's the third thing that people need to know?
The third thing that I didn't know, you might know this, I didn't, is that Houdini died because he got punched in the stomach.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. It's like, really? I thought he
Wait,
died doing
this
like
is
a
like the
magic
magician?
trick. Yeah.
Yeah, like the magician. I mean, what a way to go. I mean, here you are performing these amazing feats, and a swift punch to the stomach is what does you in. Do you know what the story was behind that?
No, I don't. I don't. I
You
just
were,
found this out last night, and I should have asked how. Maybe it was during some sort of trick he was doing, and someone went and punched him a little too hard and ruptured his spleen.
oh, is that what it was? A ruptured spleen?
Yeah.
Somebody needs to investigate this and send us a little DM. Let us know what the story is here behind Houdini. So, well, thank you so much for these very random, very fun three things that we need to know. It is Diabetes Awareness Month, and we are connected through type 1 diabetes. So, I really want to talk to you about that. Can you give me your diagnosis story? How old were you? What was that like? What do you remember, if anything? And just walk us through that part of your life.
Yeah. I was actually 4 years old. So it was in December when I was diagnosed. It was 1990. I was 4 years old, so I don't remember a lot, but I do remember a lot of little details. So I remember being sick and I remember laying in bed a lot. I remember my mom trying to feed me in bed, like picking me up, actually picking me up because I would just lay in bed. And I would I would not eat. She would try to force feed me and I wouldn't. I just would not want to eat.
Mm.
And I don't know, I honestly don't know how long that went for. I don't know if it was weeks, I don't know if it was days. But when she finally took me to the hospital, I was not walking anymore. She had to carry me, and my dad was at work when she finally decided, like, this is not normal, something's going on. And so she
Right.
took the city bus. She picked me
I
up,
remember you
and
telling me that. Yeah.
yeah, and so I remember her getting off the bus, carrying me, but I don't remember anything after that. I don't know. She took me to a hospital, and that hospital that she took me to transferred me to the children's hospital because
Okay.
it was nearby, but it was not the children's hospital. And so I remember parts of my stay, and it was 2 weeks. I know that because I spent Christmas and I spent New Year's there.
Wow. So you were really sick.
I was. Yeah, I remember screaming and kicking and crying every time I would see a nurse come in because it was like all kinds of injections, all kinds of exams. And so I was terrified. And I don't know what it was. I believe it's potassium that they would give me. It was like, it looked like a syringe. So every time they came in with the syringe, I thought it was going to be an injection, but it was actually a oral medication. And I believe it
Okay.
was potassium that they were giving me because I guess I was so low. I don't remember like going through, I know some people say that they like would have like these educational classes on how to do injections. I know my parents went through it. I know my mom did and my dad did too, and my dad did horrible. He like his hand would be shaking when he was trying to like give the orange an injection, and I'd just be like, I don't want him giving me
The
injections.
orange, the injection. So only those of us who have lived through type 1 diabetes training will understand that they teach you. I don't know if they still do, but they definitely did when I was young. I remember it too. They teach you how to give an insulin injection by practicing into an orange.
Yeah, and so we must have gone home and like home life changed for everyone, not just me, right? Because I was the baby. I had three other siblings and I was the baby. So we no longer had regular soda. We no longer had the sugary cereals. Everything was, when we went grocery shopping, my mom made sure she was picking the healthy food, right? Like quote unquote healthy food. And because back then you didn't have an insulin pump that you just punched in numbers and it just gave you insulin, and you didn't have a monitor that was checking your blood sugar 24/7. Everything was a finger prick. I actually used beef insulin, I believe. That's
Really? Yeah, because
when I was first.
you were diagnosed actually 7 years earlier than me. Doing the math, you said 1990.
And I believe 1998 is when they stopped manufacturing animal insulin. So I
It's
used
crazy.
it for very little, but I did use animal insulin in the beginning of my diagnosis when I was first diagnosed. And so it was NPH and regular. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
that's
my
what I had.
mom would put it between her hands and she would roll it, and I could hear the little clink because she had a ring. So I would hear the little clink. And till this
Yes.
day, I remember that.
The sounds, the smells, the measuring cups, like take, they're so iconic in those early days
Hmm.
of life with type 1. Yeah, you got to warm that insulin up. That thick insulin going into you burn when it's super cold like that. And so you're starting to adjust to life with type 1 diabetes. What do you remember too, being young, starting to get into school? Like 4 is pretty young, but you probably have a little more memories around maybe first grade, second grade. What was that like for you getting into grade school then?
So remember, this is 1990 when I was diagnosed, and I was 4 years old. So that next year I started school because I turned 5 a few months after that. Nobody knew what type 1 diabetes was. And back then it was juvenile diabetes. And so no one knew. No one had any idea what this was. It was brand new to us. No one in my family had it. No one had ever heard of it. And so it was, I guess, not as hard, I think, as it would be now. I don't know. I guess it was harder because no one really knew about it, but my mom was there. She was present a lot. So she would go every day and talk to the, not every day, but every time I started school, she would go and talk to the staff, and she would let them know so they all knew what to do. Unfortunately, I did have some low blood sugars during class, and the teachers didn't know what to do. And a lot of the times when teachers don't, at least that was my experience, when they didn't know what to do, it was put your head down till you feel better, which is not good for someone that has a low blood sugar.
Just take a little nap. You'll be fine.
I guess what I meant to say is that it was good because no one really knew. So it wasn't like I was telling everyone, like, I have type 1 diabetes. You can see
Yeah.
my insulin pump. You can see my sensor. It was like, it was hidden. Because I didn't feel like I was being signaled out of all the other kids. I guess in that case, in that regards, it was good. But in others, it wasn't so good because nobody really knew. So nobody really knew how to deal with me.
It has me thinking, you talking about nobody in your school, like you kind of being the first. And I was definitely, there was like one girl that went through my school that was a couple years older than me that had type 1. But I feel like, Adrian, this kind of makes us like legends, like the OGs, like we had it first. Okay. And then everybody else was like, oh,
They wanted to
it's
be
cool.
like us.
I know. Look, it is what it is. Okay. Those of us who have had it for over 25 years, like we are the originals. We brought the disease to the table and said, I don't know. But we're low key iconic, and we can maybe touch on this later. But I definitely feel like we know on the social media community, like, I mean, look, back in the day, girl, like I feel like we were in the original circle of the OGs on
Yep.
Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
But we could talk more about social media and type 1 diabetes. But I'm sorry, go on about just being in school and living with type 1 as a kid.
So imagine you have your little second grader in school and you're waiting for her at the bus stop to come home from school, and you never get off that bus. So that was an experience for my mom. I never got off that bus because my teacher told me to put my head down till I felt better. And
Wow.
she forgot about me. She let the class go home, turned off the lights, locked the door, and left me in there.
Stop. How did you survive? How does the story end? You're here today, but what
My
happened?
mom like drives to the school and she's like, my kid did not get on the bus. She didn't come off. She didn't come home. Where's my kid? And the teacher's like, I know she got on the bus. I saw her get on the bus. And she's like, check the class, check the classroom, go and check the classroom right now. And sure enough, I was there passed out. And I actually remember that day. She was carrying me, and running to the nurse's office, and she was like, get a Sprite, get a Coke, get something with sugar, and like having me drink it.
Wow. Is that's so different now with the CGMs and
Hmm.
I call it kind of the helicopter parents, but where parents can watch 24/7. So, if something happens, they can react much quicker, but we
Hmm.
didn't have that. We didn't have CGMs. We didn't have cell phones. Like we didn't have yeah, I mean, heck, now a parent waiting for their kid to get off the bus, they don't get off the bus, they text them like, where are you at? I mean, add that fear on top of a kid who has type 1 diabetes and nobody knows
Yeah.
about it. That's crazy. So that's pretty wild. Do you have any other really scary instances, maybe not even as a kid, but even more recently in life where diabetes has kind of you've been tiptoeing on that line of like, are we going to make it or not?
Not recently, actually. I'm pretty boring now as an adult. As a kid, I do
It's a
have
beautiful
another.
thing. It's a good thing. We
Yeah,
don't we don't need a lot of action.
exactly. But as a kid, I was it was another th this one was pretty bad. I was in fifth grade, and still, more modern insulin. I had my what is it called? It's not Tresiba, because that's the newer long-acting insulin.
Lantis.
What was? Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
that long. I don't even remember
Yeah.
the name
I know.
anymore.
Right.
So I was on Lantins, and I would take my Humalog for my meals. So
Yeah.
I took, my mom, I think at that time my mom was still doing injections for me. It took a while for me to take over my diabetes, but once I did,
Wow.
it was like, that's it. It's like I did it all on my own after that. But anyway, she gave me a shot, and I covered my breakfast with a napkin so she didn't see that I didn't eat it, and took me to school. And right before lunch, I still remember we were in math. So we're going over math, and the teacher is trying to explain to us something. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm low. Like, I'm going low. I was like so afraid to, raise my hand and be like, I don't feel good. Can I go to the nurses? Because she was in the middle of teaching math. And so finally, I'm like, okay, I can't wait anymore. And I raise my arm, and she's like, yeah, what's your question? And I can't talk. Because I don't
Oof.
know if you've ever had this, if this has happened to you, where you're so low that you can see what's happening around you, but you can't talk anymore.
You can't
You can,
articulate what's
the
happening.
words just
Yeah.
didn't, words
Yeah.
wouldn't come out anymore. Tears were just rolling down my cheeks. And the kid that had been in my class the year before that, he goes, I think she needs medicine. And I thought that I was
Fuck.
nodding my head, but I don't think I was moving at this point. I think I was just crying. That's all I could do. And she's like, it's okay. My teacher's like, it's okay if you don't understand. Put your head down. So I put my head down.
With the head thing. With the head thing.
And this was
Shit.
right before lunch. This is right before lunch. She finishes, the lecture. Everybody gets up to go to lunch. And then she's like, wake up. You got to go to lunch. Get up. Didn't wake up.
Shit.
Takes me to
I
the
got
nurse's
anxiety
office.
listening to this right now. Okay, sorry, go
I
on.
guess, I guess she carried me to the nurse's office, because I was obviously unconscious. And they call my mom. Apparently my mom didn't answer, so they call my aunt. Then my aunt calls my mom, and my mom's like, why haven't you called 911? What are you guys thinking? Call 911 now. And so my mom gets there, gets to school, and I don't know if at that point they had already called 911, and transported me to the hospital in the ambulance. Apparently I got very combative. I don't remember. So none of this I
Sure.
don't remember. This is just what I was told. So I was very combative, and my mom said that she believes they gave me like some kind of medication to calm me down. Took me to the hospital. That hospital couldn't wake me up, couldn't do anything. So they were like, okay, we have to transport her to the Phoenix Children's Hospital. So there we go to Phoenix Children's. I wouldn't wake up. And my mom's like, I think they gave her, she kept telling the doctors, I think they gave her something because she was really combative. And so I think they gave her something. And they're like, well, we have to figure out what's wrong with her. Can you give us consent to do a spinal tap? So I got a spinal tap because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me and
Jeez.
why I wouldn't wake up.
Had they given you glucose at this point in time?
No idea. I have no idea. I woke up the next day though. I did not wake up that same day. I woke up the next day in a hospital bed.
Wow.
Hmm.
Damn, I had trouble breathing through that story, girl. That's crazy. I feel very fortunate, very fortunate, and I'm going to knock on every piece of wood I can find, that I have never had any situation like that. And to your point, like, especially growing up, because we didn't have the technology, because we didn't have the communication, because there was a lack of awareness and education like around it, put your head down and rest, right? That's definitely what teachers always
Yep.
said. Is wild. And so I'm glad you're here with us today after all of that. That's crazy. So, you have these moments living with type 1 diabetes, growing up as a kid. What do you think was the hardest part of growing up with type 1 diabetes?
That's a good question. Because this is all I know. So
Right.
I don't know honestly what the hardest part was because, like I said, it was just me and I hid it really well. So I think the older I got and the more I tried to take control of my diabetes management, I realized like, oh, this is not just pricking my finger, taking insulin like I had been doing for a long time. So my teenage years, nobody in high school knew that I had diabetes. I like to say that I made Diet Coke popular in high school because that was like my thing, Diet Coke at lunch. And the boys would be like, "Why are you drinking Diet Coke? You don't need it." And so the girls started noticing that boys were paying attention because I had a Diet
Classic.
Coke. So then all the girls were drinking Diet Coke.
Yes.
But I wasn't taking care of myself. And I had my endo visit. I think I was a sophomore in high school. I had my endo visit, and my A1C was, I kid you not, I think it was like 11.3.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, like I know it's supposed to be below 7. Like at least I
Mhm.
knew that much, right? I just would go to the doctor and would do what they would tell me. And I always just knew like your A1C has to be 7 or below 7. And that was it. But I didn't have like a structure of like your blood sugars when you prick your finger, like it's okay if it's 200, but it shouldn't be 200 every time you prick your finger. It was just always
Yeah.
like 120 and below, 120 and below. Like that's all I knew. So I was never really checking my blood sugar because I was scared of what the number was going to be. And I would rather not know and deal with it and have to deal with it. So I would just take Lantus at night and then I would wing it through the day and just take like a little bit of Humalog here and there. But I was never
Yeah.
really checking my blood sugar. And so then that hit.
I'm going to pause you really
Mhm.
quick because I think that, and it makes me emotional because we shouldn't have to think about it when you're 13, when you're 14. You shouldn't have had to, like, why wouldn't you just
Mhm.
ignore it?
Yeah, and that's what I did for a few years. I was just ignoring it, and it was easy. It was just easy to just do that, ignore it, and not have to worry about it, not have to worry about those numbers. And I had a terrible endocrinologist. So not only was, I'm the first one in the family, nobody really knows about type 1 diabetes, and I my mom didn't speak English. I had to translate to
Wow.
my mom what the doctors were saying. So half the stuff I was probably telling her was probably even incorrect because I was only understanding so much. I mean, I was a
Sure.
kid. I we had translators, but not all the time. And so they would say something like, "Oh, you're doing really bad." Like they're telling this 13-year-old, "You're doing horrible. Like this
Right.
is really bad. We can't believe that your blood sugar is this high. We can't believe this." And I'm just like, "Okay, well, I didn't want to come to the doctor to hear that. Like, what do I do? Like, tell me what to do
Yeah.
to make it better." But you're not telling me. All you're telling me is like, do better. But you're not
Right.
giving me the tools. You're not telling me how I'm supposed to do better. I actually got fired from an endocrinologist as a patient. Or like, and that's the time when my A1C was 11 point something or 12 something. I don't even know. But they were like, "We don't want to see you."
That reminds me of a time when I was young, and I don't remember how old. My mom probably remembers it better than me, but I remember us being at a doctor's appointment, similar thing, struggling with high blood sugars because because we are kids, because we are early in the treatments, because it is really, really, excuse my language, fucking hard to keep your blood sugar within range all the time. And I remember the doctor going off on my mom for not keeping me under better control. And my mom just being in tears, like, why would I not try? You know, like, we're trying. And so, and that's where too, our, you know, I'd already mentioned, man, having our community of people with type 1 diabetes is, in my opinion, even so much stronger and better than an endocrinologist who can just get the prescriptions we need, because we can teach each other better than any doctor who read a book and thinks they know how to manage it. So, yeah, similar stories in this, like being reprimanded by a doctor for poor management on diabetes when they really have no idea what it's like.
Exactly. Especially as a kid, you know, like you're talking to me like I'm this adult that's supposed to know what I'm supposed to be doing when I don't. You never gave me the tools that I needed. And if you did, it was like it was somehow lost in the translation that I had to give my mom.
Poor mom. Oh my gosh. So with some of this too, you've already shared some, what I would consider crazy things that people have said to you, like, go ahead and rest your head down if you're not feeling good, or, you know, fired you from being a patient without the tools to properly manage. Is there anything else, like more ignorance, or maybe in the lines of funny, that people have said to you, like the craziest things at any point in time growing up?
Yes.
Let's start the list.
And you've probably heard a lot of these too, but one that always gets me is but you don't even look diabetic.
Damn.
And I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah. She's just over here with her Diet Coke. She don't need the Diet Coke. She doesn't look diabetic. God.
That's a big one. Or oh, well, at least you don't have cancer.
Right. That one. Yep. That one. And the all too favorite, should you be eating that?
Yes. That one's, you can't eat this. Which brings me back to when I was in elementary. My teacher, she was so nice. She wanted to include me in donut day. And so she brought donuts for everyone and brought me a bagel because I could not eat sugar.
That bagel's about to wreck your world. The donut would be nicer to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a similar situation where, and I don't remember specifically, but it was along the same lines of, like, everybody was getting cupcakes and I got like crackers and like fruit or something. And I'm like, look, I need the same amount of insulin for these crackers and fruit. Just give me the cupcake. Just a lack of understanding. I too, and not as much now, but have always gotten the whole, like, probably more like 10 years ago, like the insulin pump. Oh, is that a beeper or is that an iPod? Like, just total, you know, lack of awareness, which I get it. If you don't know, you don't know. It's, you know, no fault on anybody's part, but.
Well, now with all the tech that we have, it makes people think that it's so easy for us. And that's another thing that really bugs me. It's like, oh, it's so easy because you have, you know, you don't have to prick your finger anymore. No, it's still really hard.
Yeah. And I even have to sometimes, I mean, he kind of knows now, but I definitely early on in my relationship with Joe, it would even be because I could manage it so well on my own. Even when I'm low, I had to teach, like, hey, if I'm low, I actually probably need your help. Like, you should still react if I'm low. Like, if you could offer to get me something, like, yeah, if I can get it myself, I will. But, like, don't just assume everything's okay, because it's potentially not sometime. But to your point, I think people, just think it's so easy, and it's so much.
It's still a lot of work. It doesn't take the work out of diabetes at all. It makes it a little bit easier, but it's still a lot of work. We still get low blood sugar. We still get high blood sugar. We still get the roller coasters.
True. That's the truth. But along those same lines, we have had so many advancements in technology. And one thing I always love about following you on social media is, like, you're like a guinea pig. You're like, let me try all the things. And I live vicariously through you because I'm a creature of habit. I'm like, nah, it's good. I'm not going to change this. So out of all the things, I mean, you've even tried the inhalable insulin. Which piece of technology or advancement is your favorite? What is there anything that you're like, I can't imagine life without this piece of
Yes.
technology? It's been the most helpful.
And it's the one that you just mentioned, inhaled insulin. I would not go. That is the one that if they told me all the gadgets, everything's going, what are you keeping? It's a Freza.
And that's great. You
Absolutely.
are like, out of everybody I know, you're the only one. Although you are, I have to just commend you. Like, you are so meticulous. Like, you definitely manage your blood sugars better than me. But you have this great control, and I am mind blown. Are you still on the Afrezza
I
inhalable insulin?
am. So I am
So tell me
on
how that works.
the
Explain
T
to that how
Slim.
this works.
I'm on T Slim. I'm
Yeah.
on the Dexcom, and I do a Freza for my meals or corrections. I still use my insulin pump for meals. I still use it for corrections. But when I see my blood sugar is 180 and it's trending up, I already know my insulin's going to take a really long time to work to bring it back to my range. So my range is
Yeah.
140 is what I keep it at. So anything above 140, I don't like. And so I'll take a Freza for that 180 when it starts trending up, and it drops me instantly. Within 15 minutes, it's already dropping. And I only take the 4 unit. There's 4, 8, and 12. The 8 and the 12 is way too much for me. So I only take 4 units, and 4 units will drop me instantly. It drops me about 30 to 40 points. But then within 40 minutes, it's already out of my system. So I don't have to worry about those lows that you get with regular insulin, because liquid insulin is in your body for about 3 to 4 hours. So it's still working even after you took it 3 hours ago, it's
Right.
still working depending on how your body reacts to it. I have more of the steady,
Yeah.
a little high from my meal, which is maybe sometimes 180 at most. I still have the 200s, I still have the 250s, but not as often as I used to. And they don't stick
Yeah.
around for as high as they used to. So
Yeah.
I could have a 250 blood sugar reading that would stay there for 3 hours because my insulin was not working. Now, if I'm 250 and I take a Freza, I drop within 15 minutes.
I got
It's a
you.
lot of
I
trial
got you.
and error.
Okay, fascinating. A lot of trial and error. Let me ask you, how do you believe that type 1 diabetes has shaped you as a person?
I think it's made me more diligent. It's made me be aware of other people and their needs, only because I know that when I'm not feeling well, it's really nice when someone comes up to me and asks, "Hey, do you need something? Can I help with something?" So I feel like it's made me more aware, and it's made me very strong and very. I mean, I had to grow up pretty quick. I have to keep myself alive, basically, is what we do every day, keep ourselves alive. So it made me a very strong person. I've done 100-mile bike rides. I love lifting weights. I love um, hiking. I love climbing mountains. I will do anything and everything. And I think having diabetes pushes me a little bit more because I want to be like, hey, if I can do it, anyone can do it. If
Yes,
I was
she
able
is
to
a
do it, you don't
total.
have the excuse.
Exactly. She is the epitome of a diabadass, as I like to say. And we've also bonded through our workouts and getting to work out
hmm
together, which is so fun.
But thank you, because same to you. Like I see you, everything you're doing. I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's just a badass, and I love it. She's type 1. She's like my sister. We can like, it's just so cool.
Yes. It really is. Kind of going back to too, we really have this strong online community. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. And anytime that I get to talk to or connect with newly diagnosed families or newly diagnosed adults, which is becoming so much more common, I'm
hmm
like, you got to get in on the online community, because those are the
hmm
people who are going to, I mean, again, let me disclose, confirm everything with your doctor to make sure that it's approved. But I'm telling you, but learn the tips and the tips and the tricks, and then take it back to your doctor and be like, yo, what do you think if I try this? Because I just have learned so much, especially too through exercise, because you and I stay so active. There's a huge learning curve on how to manage that. So what are you doing with your insulin before you work out? What does that look like? What snacks are you taking? Oh, with that in mind, what's your favorite low snack? What's your go-to low snack right now?
Right now, it's the gummy lifesavers. Those are my favorite.
Oh, those are good. I like those.
Yeah,
I have
those are
gotten
my
very
favorite.
into gels. Like, to me, it's such an insignificant, like, I can keep them everywhere. It's so fast. I can like be running at my workout and just do it without even chewing. So I've been like hardcore on gels for like the last like plus year. I really like this, unless I'm feeling like fine.
Those are my go-to when I'm cycling, because it's easy to keep in my jersey, and I just grab one, rip it, and easy. I don't have to worry about trying to, chew anything. Is just quick and fast.
Put it in your mouth, chew it. Yeah. So what is, as we start to wrap this up, what is one thing that you wish more people knew about type 1 diabetes? And maybe people already are starting to learn, but if there's one reoccurring theme, or what's kind of one thing that you wish people knew about type 1?
I think it's what you just said, and it's find a community, find the diabetes online community, because that's really what made me finally get like on this road of stay on track, stay on top of my diabetes management, and learn the tips and tricks from others that worked for them. You'll have to, like I said, trial and error, but it's definitely the diabetes online community, because when I found all of you, my diabetes management went from high 7s to now it's been years where it's been below 5. And I can't, I wouldn't have done it with my endo. I think I'd probably still be fighting the 7s if it was just me listening to what my endo was telling me, instead of, listening to what other type 1 diabetics were doing or are doing. And that's honestly, like, my best advice is get advice from other type 1 diabetics.
Yeah. And every doctor would say, don't say that. But I mean, look, I say this all the time, if you do not live with this, you can never fully understand. You cannot understand what it's like to take a shower and have the shower drop your blood sugar. You can't understand what it's like to just go shopping with your friends and the simple perusing of a shopping store drop your blood sugar. People are so only focused on diet, exercise, insulin dosage, but there's so many things, hormones, medications, stress, that impact the blood sugar that you cannot control or predict every single day. So learning from each other and how we just manage life is so important.
I think we're very hard on ourselves, but especially when you have to deal with something as big as type 1 diabetes, but if I can do it, anyone can do it, honestly, because I mean, we're already having to keep ourselves alive, and we can do all these other things.
You're a mom. We didn't even talk about, you talked about Sophia, but you have 2 daughters. You're a realtor. You do crazy physical things like long bike rides and lifting weights. And I mean, truly the epitome of living life to the fullest. And so I think you demonstrating that diabetes doesn't have to slow us down is such a good reminder to anybody who's either dealing with something big or not, just trying to do life. It's like you get to make the most of life, regardless of the challenges that you face, and how you decide to tackle that head on, is up to you. And we take it in stride, and we learn how to adjust, and we truly make the most of life. So thank you, Adriana, so much.
Thank
you for coming
Sam.
on here and sharing your stories. So I really appreciate your time. Everybody who's listening, have a great day, because you deserve it.